So this month I lost 16 pounds, dropped a dress size, finally started sleeping better again, and all without medications like Ozempic. But it wasn't all plain sailing, and here's exactly what happened in my first 28 days on keto, fasting, and resetting my health. So hi everyone, and welcome back to Mich. If you're new here, I'm Mich, I'm in my late 40s, I'm insulin resistant, I'm perimenopausal, and like a lot of women my age, I had been struggling with low and inconsistent energy, a lot of weight gain, and just feeling not like myself at all. And instead of going down the medication route with things like Ozempic or Mounjaro, I tried them for 2 months last year, risk assessed for me, and decided I didn't want to risk the long-term potential side effects. That's just my personal feelings. So I wanted to see if I could reset my health naturally using ketogenic diet approach plus intermittent fasting and simple home workouts. So I set myself an initial 28-day reset challenge, and in this video I'm going to share what happened week by week and what I learned about food, fasting, hormones, exercise, and also the mistakes that I made along the way. And hopefully it gives you some real insight into what happens when you try a low carb lifestyle, especially if you're a bit older, insulin resistant, and dealing with hormone changes. All right, let's get into it. So week one, I was honestly better than I'd thought it would be. It was better than what I thought it would be. On hindsight, I'd been eating a really high carb diet before that. So the first few days of cutting back did hit me. And I had my usual perimenopausal symptoms, tiredness, brain fog, low energy, and some restless nights. And I also had some symptoms of what's referred to as keto flu, headaches. I was feeling achy. And it's basically your body burning through its stored carbs and starting to switch over to fat for fuel. The good news, by the end of week one, I'd lost 8 pounds really quickly. But mostly that's water weight, but it gave me such an early boost. People often ask what actually counts as low carb. So here's the breakdown. Under about 100 grams a day is considered low carb, but keto is usually under 50 grams of net carbs a day. Net carbs are your total carbs minus the fiber. And if you're looking at strict keto, which I was mostly doing as I'm trying to reverse a persistent build-up of insulin resistance, by the start of week two, I'd reduced from 50 grams of net carbs a day to lower than that. And by the end of week one, the cravings had started to ease quite a bit, but it was a real reminder to drink water, keep my electrolytes up, and that made a big difference. And that was simply a bit of sea salt in with my water bottle through the day. Week two was much better. My energy started to level out. I wasn't thinking about foods much at all. And I noticed that my digestion was calmer. My clothes were definitely a little looser as well. They were fitting better. And I started experimenting more with quick keto recipes, simple breads, crackers, air fryer meals, and that made things feel more sustainable. And there's a link to my ever expanding keto recipes playlist above. And at the end of each short recipe, there's macros breakdown to keep you on track. One of the big things I focused on was foods that naturally boost GLP-1, and that's the hormone that diet medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Wegovy work on, but you can actually raise it through your diet. Protein like eggs, chicken, fish, fiber from leafy greens, chia seeds, healthy fats like avocado and nuts, and even fermented foods like Greek yogurt will all help. So if you're looking for natural appetite control, building meals around those foods is really powerful. By week three, something clicked. My appetite was much calmer, my mood was lighter, and I felt a lot more focused. And that was when I really started to feel the benefits of ketosis. That's when your body switches from burning glucose to burning fat as its main fuel source. And that usually happens after about 2 weeks of consistently low carbs. Exercise also felt easier this week, and I was walking regularly, rebounding on my little mini trampoline, added in resistance bands and some yoga. Nothing extreme, just consistent movement. People often ask what actually happens after 2 weeks of no carbs. Well, this is it. You move into ketosis. Hunger becomes much easier to manage. Your energy gets more steady, mentally feel clearer. Food noise just really quietens down. But I did learn a lesson here. It's really easy to overdo nuts, cheese, and high-fat foods on keto. Yes, they're low carb, but calories still matter if weight loss is the goal. So portion control was something that I had to get a little bit better at with my snacks. And by the final week of the reset, I felt that my body had settled into this new rhythm. My energy was steadier throughout the day. I wasn't crashing mid-afternoon. My sleep improved. Belly bloat has gone down quite significantly. Clothes that were snug at the start of the month fit much better. And I've dropped a dress size, plus a bit more than that, to be honest. Exercise felt like part of my day rather than something that I had to force myself to do. I also want to talk about carbs and belly fat because this comes up all the time. The worst offenders are refined sugars and ultra-processed carbs. Things like sweetened drinks, pastries, white bread. And they spike insulin, so they push fat storage and especially collect around the belly. So cutting those out is one of the fastest ways to see changes in your body shape. And at the end of week 4, I'd lost 16 pounds total across the month, which would average around 4 pounds a week. I'm so happy with that. But as I've said, I know a lot of that will be water weight. But honestly, the non-scale wins for me, like the improvement in perimenopausal symptoms, were even better. Better sleep, better mood, less bloating, much better focus. My memory's still not great, but I don't think anything will improve that. So before I wrap up, let me pull together the big takeaways from this first month. Intermittent fasting, I've used it before in the past. I would have been comfortable with 16 to 18 hour fasts. This time round, my body told me it could be easily go longer. So for week 1, it was between 17 and 20 hour fasting week window. By week 3, I was easily managing like 21 to 24 hour fasts. On average, I was doing about 21 hours a day most days, and that helped massively with the insulin resistance, the fat burning, and the appetite control. But if you're new, start shorter and build up. And also in perimenopause, we really need to be even more careful with the windows, and I'll go into that more in a future video. Exercise wise, about 5 years ago, I was doing a lot of yoga, but I just gradually lost my way with it. The more energy I'm now naturally feeling, the more motivation I feel to get back into it. I have a yoga mat next to my bed. I've got YouTube yoga playlists at the ready, so setting my alarm for 15 to 20 minutes earlier and getting a yoga flow done as soon as the alarm goes off. It sets me right up for the day, makes me feel that I've got a toning effect and that I have much better posture for the rest of the day. So it's really good for me, for both body and mind, and I would advocate it. Carb swaps, my go-tos: almond or coconut flour, breads, crackers, cauliflower, rice, low-carb noodles, Greek yogurt, and eggs for protein. Fill me up and are my main go-to. And with low carb bread, check, homemade is best. Most supermarket versions still have hidden starches and sugars that can spike insulin. It's 100 grams of carbs a day, low carb? Yeah. And it's a good place to start with if you're starting to ease in. And mindset, this isn't just about the scale, though that helps massively. The bigger wins for me were in my energy, my sleep, my mood, and feeling more in control of my body and my mind. And that's what makes it worth sticking with for me. So that's my 28-day reset in a nutshell. 16 pounds down, more importantly, feel like myself again. Several years ago, before the perimenopause symptoms really started to take hold, I feel like I'm kind of back there. I've got much more energy, better sleep, better mood, much clearer idea of what works in my body in perimenopause. And this is just month 1. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep experimenting with recipes, workouts, and fasting, and I'll share it all here. If you want to follow along, make sure you check out my playlists. I've got quick keto recipes, carb swap ideas, and lots more educational content coming along. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see how month 2 goes. We're just getting started, and I'd love for you to come on the journey with me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.